Here are today's top stories. Today on the PNA Newsroom, special coverage of President Duterte's third State of the Nation address. Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo takes over as Speaker of the House after Congressmen vote out Pantaleon Alvarez. President Duterte reports on the government's accomplishments and plans in his third State of the Nation address. The Tapang at Malasakit Alliance formally launches in Quezon City. And a low-pressure area and enhanced monsoon rains threaten to bring rains in Luzon and Visayas. Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom.
Former President and now Pampanga Representative Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo is the new Speaker of the House of Representatives. Arroyo replaced Davao del Norte Representative Pantaleon Alvarez shortly before the start of President Rodrigo Duterte's third State of the Nation address. Arroyo is the first female to assume the speakership post. Duterte's allies said the ouster move against Alvarez has the support of the president's daughter, Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio, who had an earlier brush with Alvarez. The squabble between the two began last February when Alvarez called Duterte Carpio part of the opposition after she formed the regional political party Hugpong ng Pagbabago.
The House of Representatives abruptly adjourned its session on Monday without ratifying the bicameral conference committee report on the organic law for the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, or the Bangsamoro Organic Law. Majority Floor Leader Rodolfo Fariñas earlier in the day said the House would ratify the BOL at the opening of the third regular session to pave the way for President Rodrigo Duterte to sign the landmark measure into law before he delivers his third State of the Nation address, but that will have to wait. Maricor Zapata has this story.
After an hour-long suspension, congressmen moved to adjourn the session until 4 p.m. on Monday. Majority Leader Rodolfo Fariñas earlier in the day said the House would ratify the Bangsamoro Organic Law, or BOL, at the opening of the third regular session. This, is said, was to pave the way for President Rodrigo Duterte's signing of the landmark measure into law before he delivers his third State of the Nation address. But before the BOL could be ratified, Davao del Norte Representative Pantaleon Alvarez was removed as Speaker of the House and was replaced by Pampanga Representative Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo. Malacanang said it would not be interfering in any attempt to change the leadership of the House of Representatives after reports on supposed move to ousted Alvarez had surfaced. Although the BOL is at standstill in Congress, the Senate has already ratified its own version of the bill. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Maricor Zapata.
The government continues to resolve issues regarding the country's contested territories. On its second year, the Duterte administration moves to assert its sovereignty while maintaining harmony with other claimants. Rom Dulfo has this story.
The Duterte administration remains focused on protecting the country's national territory and sovereignty. National Security Advisor Jimenez Esperon said this is demonstrated by the continuous patrols conducted by the military, covering more than 180,000 nautical miles of the country's domain and more than 2,400 flying hours. Augmenting these patrols are the littoral monitoring stations installed in various parts of the country, which help in the detection and monitoring of more than 66,000 foreign and domestic vessels in the Philippine waters. The DND began rehabilitation of structures in Philippine islands and features such as the beaching ramp and repair of runway in Pag-asa Island. Boosting these efforts are the government's active participation in the ASEAN-China processes for the peaceful management and resolution of disputes in the South China Sea. To ensure that the military has the capability to fully secure the country, the NSA said the AFP has completed a total of 27 modernization projects from 2016 up to March 2018. Esperon also notes the government continues to engage China regarding the Philippines' concerns in the West Philippine Sea through high-level visits and meetings, including the Bilateral Consultation Mechanism or BCM. These efforts seek to improve the ability of both sides to manage developments so as not to escalate tensions, to widen access of Filipino artisanal fishermen in Scarborough Shoal, and to protect our environment and marine ecosystem. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Rom Dulfo.
One of the campaign promises of then-Mayor Rodrigo Duterte was the signing of the Bangsamoro Basic Law as a key to lasting peace in the Mindanao region. On his third SONA, President Duterte finally presents the approved version of the BBL, which shall now be known as the Bangsamoro Organic Law.
Despite all that has been said or against the Bangsamoro Organic Law by all sectoral groups, I make this solemn commitment that this administration will never deny our Muslim brothers and sisters the basic legal tools to chart their own destiny within the constitutional framework of our country. When the approved version is transmitted and received by my office, the law has been passed actually, and I intend to give me 48 hours to sign it and ratify the law. Babasahin ko pa bago ako pipirmahan. Baka may siningit kayo dyan na hindi maganda para sa ibang tao. We will need loads of understanding and patience to endure and overcome the birth pangs or pains of the new beginning. To me, war is not an option. We have been through the catastrophe in Marawi.
One of the most ambitious goals of the Duterte administration is the reduction of poverty in the country. This early, the government is reaching out to the poorest sectors to provide education, health services, and improve livelihood. More on this from Miguel Hill.
The government is committed to reduce the poverty rate from 21% to 14% or equivalent to lifting about 6 million Filipinos out of poverty by 2022. Poverty alleviation is the main thrust of the Philippine Development Plan 2017 to 2022. The PDP 2017-2022 is geared towards the country's long-term vision adopted in Executive Order Number 5, Ambisyon Natin 2040, which includes the eradication of poverty by 2040. Virginia Orogo, chair of the Human Development and Poverty Reduction Cluster, reported over 4.9 million children of Pantawid Pamilya Program beneficiaries have enrolled for academic year 2017-2018. On the other hand, over 900,000 students in 112 state universities and colleges receive free tuition. Meanwhile, about 32.7 million indigents are now covered by PhilHealth. The Universal Health Coverage Bill was certified by President Rodrigo Duterte as an urgent measure. 3,000 drug dependents have completed the community-based rehab program. On enhanced social services, the beneficiaries of the unconditional cash transfer is expected to reach 8 million. For rural development, the Department of Agrarian Reform has distributed about 60,450 hectares of land, while the Department of Agriculture has launched Easy Access Credit, where farmers and fisherfolk can borrow money with only 6% interest rates without collateral. Poverty in the Philippines remains to be a predominantly rural phenomenon, with 75% of the poor residing in rural areas. Among the basic sectors, poverty incidence is highest among farmers and fisherfolk. Orogo said the HDPRC will continue to exert all efforts to improve the quality of life of Filipinos by investing more in education, health, create more opportunities, increase social protection and community engagements, and coordinate more at the local level. For the PNA Newsroom, I am Miguel Hill.
Still to come, the government reiterates its commitment to fight illegal drugs and criminality. In our special SONA coverage, President Duterte paves the way to improve relations with the Philippines' partner countries. These and more when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Ito ang Duterte on Duty. Ulat sa ginagawa ng Presidente. July 13, Biyernes, Davao City. Dumalo si Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte sa Mindanao Island Cluster Conference ng League of Municipalities of the Philippines. July 16, Lunes. Mas pinatatag ng Pangulo ang relasyon ng Pilipinas at Malaysia nang dumalaw at maipagkita siya kay Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad. July 17, Martes, Intramuros. Pinaunahan ni Pangulong Duterte ang groundbreaking ceremony ng Binondo Intramuros Bridge at Estrella Pantaleon Bridge bilang bahagi ng Build program ng gobyerno.
These bridges will not only improve the capacity and the efficiency of Metro Manila's transportation corridor by providing additional bridges and routes across Pasig River, but will also enhance the resilience of a road network against natural disasters.
Pasay City. Dumalo rin ang Pangulo sa ceremonial welcome para sa dalawang bagong eroplano na A350 at A321. Sa kanyang talumpati ay pinuri ng Pangulo ang Philippine Airlines.
I note that all the airlines' recent accomplishments and existing initiatives will encourage more people to travel to the Philippines, thereby boosting our tourism industry.
Ako po si Secretary Martin Andanar at ito ang Duterte on Duty. Abangan sa susunod na linggo ang mga gagawin ng Pangulo.
Earlier today, Mayor Inday Sara Duterte Carpio spearheaded the launching of the Tapang at Malasakit launch in Quezon City. My co-anchor Pia Roses Morato is right there at the Trinity University of Asia to deliver a spot report. Yes, Pia, good morning.
I'm here at Trinity University of Asia, here in Quezon City for the Tapang at Malasakit launch for Quezon City. And I have with me, I cornered with so quickly, Attorney Karen Jimenez. Attorney, good morning.
Good morning.
And we're from the PNA Newsroom, and we wanted to know what are your expectations for today. Thank you for being with us here at Quezon City.
Of course, well, our expectation is really to have Quezon City with Tapang Malasakit as a partner in all our advocacies. Tapang Malasakit is not a political alliance. It's not a political party. It's an alliance of people who want to support fellow Filipinos and to support the country in general. So we're here to really fill in the gaps in terms of what government can provide. So we're here to support the administration's programs, but we're also here to support fellow Filipinos to provide the services they need. That's why we're also building a memorial for Marawi. We've been helping people in Marawi. We've also been working with our OFW kababayans.
Participants from QC, Navotas, and Taguig arrived as early as 6 a.m. to show their support to the President Rodrigo Duterte. They were composed of overseas Filipino workers, women, youth, the LGBT, TODA, and solo parents.
Dumalo po kami dito kasi gusto po namin na pakita na isang lahi lang po kami na we're proud po na kami ay Pilipino para po suportahan po si President Duterte.
Yung kanyang mga magandang programa no, na binababa dito sa atin para sa mga tao at para sa mga mahihirap. Napakaganda na ginagawa ng ating mahal na presidente. Duterte.
The gathering covered almost all the sectors of society.
Ang gusto lang naman natin ay masuportahan ang magagandang advokasya ng Duterte administration, and at the same time, mapukaw talaga yung pagiging makabayan natin, unahin ang pagmamahal sa bayan.
That the movement is about character building, it's about the values of compassion and strength. And that those are the characters that we need for change to happen in our community and in our country.
President's daughter, Davao City Mayor Inday Sara said, Filipinos should become partners for change. Despite having bad colds, Inday Sara managed to address the crowd.
Kailangan i-remind natin araw-araw sa mga tao kung bakit natin pinili si President Duterte. Dahil kailangan natin ng pagbabago sa ating bansa.
Tapang at Malasakit was launched in 2016 during the campaign of their mayor, Duterte. Now in his third year of presidency, Inday Sara's Tapang at Malasakit serves as a catalyst for change by encouraging everyone to do their part in helping the country.
Kahit po yung maliit na bagay lang na makisama tayo sa kapitbahay natin, na sumunod tayo sa mga batas na hindi na tayo kailangan i-remind ni barangay captain, ng pulis, ni mayor, kung ano yung dapat natin na gawin. Yung simple act natin, na alamin natin kung ano yung tama na gagawin kontra sa yung mali na desisyon. Yun po ang gusto natin i-remind araw-araw sa mga kababayan natin sa through Tapang at Malasakit.
Mayor Sara Duterte added that change starts at our very own community by doing even the simplest act of proper garbage disposal, cleaning your own backyard, and helping other people who are in far worse situations than us.
Tulungan natin ang gobyerno. Meron silang kailangan gawin. Meron din tayong kailangan gawin on our own private capacity.
For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Pia Rosas Morato.
Thank you very much, Pia Rosas Morato, reporting from the Trinity University of Asia. To further protect Filipinos abroad, the Duterte administration has launched various mechanisms from repatriation and labor deals to campaigns against human trafficking. More on this from Janice Cabe.
The Department of Foreign Affairs reported that over 34,000 Filipinos abroad from January to June 2018 were assisted by its Assistance to Nationals Fund and Legal Assistance Fund. During the same month, the agency also deployed an augmentation team to Kuwait to assist the Philippine Embassy during the amnesty program by the Kuwaiti government. About 24 million pesos was provided as financial assistance upon their arrival from February 12 to April 22. The repatriation of the female wards from the Polo shelter in Kuwait is still ongoing. On the other hand, during the onslaught of Hurricanes Irma and Jose, the DFA also facilitated the evacuation and eventual repatriation of 136 Filipinos from the British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and St. Martin on September 14 to 28, 2017. Meanwhile, the Philippines has signed 3 bilateral labor agreements with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Kuwait, 3 of the top destinations of OFWs. In 2017, the DFA also assisted a total of 1,476 alleged victims of trafficking in persons. For the third consecutive year, the Philippines retained its Tier 1 status in the 2018 United States Department Trafficking in Persons report on June 28, 2018. The ranking indicates that the Philippines fully meets the minimum standards for the elimination of trafficking. The DFA is also active in pursuing advocacies to further protect migrants as one of the major labor-sending countries in the world. Foremost is to rally international support behind the Global Compact on Safe, Orderly, and Regular Migration. Once adopted in Morocco and on December 11, the GCM will serve as a non-legally binding cooperative framework that builds on the commitments agreed upon in the 2016 New York Declaration for Refugees and Migrants. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
The administration's campaign against criminality and illegal drugs has been both hailed by supporters and condemned by his critics. As President Duterte goes on his second year in office, Filipinos have begun to see and feel the benefit of living in more peaceful neighborhoods and communities.
The lives of our youth are being wasted and families are destroyed, and all because of the chemical called shabu, cocaine, cannabis, and heroin. Human rights to me means giving Filipinos, especially those at the society's fringes, a decent and dignified future of the social and physical infrastructures necessary to better their lives and freedoms, and the hard-earned property of every Filipino whose condition we wish to improve shall be protected from criminals, terrorists, corrupt officials, and traffickers and contrabands. You worry about the present. I am concerned both the present and the future. I worry about the future because I know what crimes can do to the youth of this country if not stopped. Crimes can make human cesspools of succeeding generation. I will not allow it to happen. Not during my term. Time and again, I have stressed that corruption must stop. Corruption is like a leech that it bleeds the government of funds, program, infrastructure, and social development projects. It saps the morale of dedicated and honest government workers, and corruption destroys those who succumb to its temptation, and eventually it is the innocent who will suffer and bear its horrible consequences.
Among the Duterte administration's policies is to actively engage with the country's allies and partners. These ties have helped fuel the government's programs while fostering better relations. Here is our report.
Two years after President Rodrigo Duterte assumed office, the Philippines has witnessed the government enhancing its engagement with its traditional and non-traditional partners. This through the Department of Foreign Affairs' efforts to engage nations in line with the Chief Executive's foreign policy direction to be friends to all and enemy to none. Numerous agreements were signed during state and official visits, notably with Japan and China on economic and infrastructure projects. These feed into the Build, Build, Build program of the Duterte administration. Manila inked 19 bilateral agreements with Moscow, including those on agriculture, trade, transportation, defense, security, and energy. Among others, business deals worth $875 million were sealed, and Russia donated military equipment to the Philippines. Meanwhile, Manila and Washington reaffirmed to bolster their alliance anchored on their mutual defense treaty. A delegation led by Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea had productive discussions with then U.S. Pacific Command Chief Admiral Harry Harris Jr. in Honolulu in May this year. National Security Advisor Hermogenes Esperon Jr. and DFA Secretary Alan Peter Cayetano later met with their counterparts to reaffirm the two countries' partnership and security alliance. On the South China Sea dispute, the government had underscored its deliberate and nuanced diplomacy, which lowered tensions in the region and resulted in economic gains for the country. Last year, the ASEAN regional bloc and China adopted the framework for the Code of Conduct in the South China Sea under the Philippines' chairmanship. China, Taiwan, and some ASEAN member states, including the Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei, and Vietnam, have overlapping territorial claims in the South China Sea. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Filipinos were in for a surprise when President Rodrigo Duterte ordered the closing of Boracay for rehabilitation. This was one step for the administration towards addressing the numerous environmental issues affecting the country. More on this from Benj Bondok.
The government is on the right track to bring back the old glory of the world-famous Boracay Island. Environment Secretary Roy Cimatu said that Boracay, once referred to by President Rodrigo Duterte as a cesspool, would soon be opened again and restored in its former glory. Cimatu said the interagency task force led by the DNR has so far removed a number of illegal structures built on areas classified as forest lands and wetlands. After the rehabilitation of Boracay, the DENR will examine other major tourist destinations including Palawan, Panglao, and Puerto Galera in Oriental Mindoro for possible violations of environmental laws. The Cabinet Cluster on Climate Change, Adaptation, Mitigation, and Disaster Risk Reduction, meanwhile, reported 0 casualty when Mayon volcano erupted in January, while the number of families affected by typhoons and other natural disasters decreased by 43%. Since July 2017, the DENR and its partners have planted trees on more than 184,500 hectares. Presidential Proclamation number 489, which declared parts of the Philippine Rise as a marine resource reserve, and the enactment of the expanded National Integrated Protected Area System Act have ensured better conservation and protection of the environment. Meanwhile, Cimatu said the Philippines seeks to pursue the implementation of more renewable energy projects and low-carbon technologies. According to a study by the World Bank, the Philippines is among the top 12 countries with the highest risk of experiencing the hazards of climate change in terms of vulnerability to tropical cyclones. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Benj Bondok.
Let's now check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Here's another look at the day's top stories. Today on the PNA Newsroom, special coverage of President Duterte's third State of the Nation address. Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo takes over as Speaker of the House after Congressmen vote out Pantaleon Alvarez. President Duterte reports on the government's accomplishments and plans in his third State of the Nation address. The Tapang at Malasakit Alliance formally launches in Quezon City. And a low-pressure area and enhanced monsoon rains threaten to bring rains in Luzon and Visayas. Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and how it serves the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. And remember this in life, there are rainy days, but always look forward to when the sun finally shines through. And that's your daily dose of the latest news and information that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, I am William Theo. Good day.